you can start making the argument right now about Dillashaw. Yeah. He beat Barao twice when Barao hadn't lost in 10 years. Then he turns around and beats Cody Garbrandt, coming off an unbelievable fight with I'm trying to remember everybody's names tonight. With Cruz. I mean, the fight with Cruz was incredible. Right. Comes off the fight with Cruz and then beats, loses to Dillashaw twice. So you can make the argument right now that Dillashaw's, right there.
Listen, when Sterling takes your back and has your back for the entire fucking round and comes really close to getting chokes in and is punching you the entire round, complete back control, when is that a 10-8? I want to know when that's a 10-8.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. There's no clear judging criteria.
Because I watched him take his back, and first of all, I was stunned at how strong his back control is. I always knew it was good. Yep. I mean, it was amazing against Sandhagen when he took Sandhagen's back and strangled him. But to watch Jan, no one has ever controlled Jan on the ground like that before.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah, if you're a good body triangle rider and you lock it, it's so hard to get out of. And I think
He's
Jan
so good.
Jan didn't really know how to work to unlock that body triangle.
I was so impressed with Aljamain. I was so impressed with his back taking and his back control. The only guy who's ever really destroyed him was Aljo, and Aljo took him down and choked him. You know, and Aljamain's got some fucking nasty jiu-jitsu. Dominic is TJ's more kick oriented. TJ he's not that Dominic doesn't have kicks, but I think TJ has more flexibility. He's more loose in the outside. TJ wins by head kick. Right? He head kicks guys. He will do all of the above. He doesn't have in any way a limited arsenal.
Yeah, I got Aljamain in that one. One reason is because I counted him out so big against Jan, so I won't do that again. And then another one I think is just because I think what Aljamain does, he does, really world class, like best in the world at doing it, which is getting his hands on you, taking your back, and then, winning that way. And I think that in order to not have that be the case, you have to have a lot of stopping power, and you have to like that's not an easy style to beat by any means. And I just don't think that TJ has the amount of stopping power in his punches and his attacks in order to stop Aljamain from running over there, grabbing him, and taking his back. I might be wrong. I'm typically wrong about predicting fights because I don't watch a lot of guys, but with this one, that's how I see it going.
People were doubting Aljamain, and he proved everybody wrong. So I think people got a new respect for him. TJ's coming off an injury, but that's never stopped him before. He's an animal. I've trained with him a ton. I think it's going to be a great fight. But I having trained with TJ, I don't see a lot of people beating him. But I do know it will be a great fight.
I recently rewatched Corey versus TJ, and TJ impressed me a lot. Coming back from his layoff from cheating, and Aljo really impressed me against his rematch against Peter. It's a good fight. I'm excited. You can't count Aljo out. I think TJ might have an advantage for whatever reason. I don't know. But I'm excited for that fight. I definitely would like to watch that front row and see what they're all about. But those dudes are, the top dogs, so it's going to be a good fight.
Interesting fight. If I had to guess, I'd say TJ could get the job done. But you can't count Aljo out.
I believe TJ got the real fighter mindset. Like, he's gonna come after him, and he's a real wrestler. I didn't grow up wrestling. There's no wrestling in high school. I used to have a couple scraps in recess, but so I see it like this: if he stopped the takedowns and he put pressure, he can start overwhelming. But people can talk shit about Starling. I talk shit about Starling just because I don't personally like him. But the guy is still a fucking good fighter. He get a hold of you. He's gonna control. He's gonna get you tired. I don't think he's too much of a good guy that can hold people down, but he got good transitions to the back. He can catch a neck. So it's a good fight too. That one is hard to judge. It's honestly how the momentums are taking. Who's putting the pressure? Who's making damage? T is not a 28-year-old either, so we'll see what happens,
So I think Aljamain brought up a good point, man. Like, he should be TJ wins one fight. Okay, he beat Sandhagen. I even gave TJ that fight just based on the accumulation of how much time that he ended up taking from Corey Sandhagen. but man, that dude just came off of roids, man. You know what I mean? He won one fight, so he get a next title shot. Like I like where Aljamain is taking this, but at the same time, I think it was ballsy of TJ to go up against a Corey Sandhagen and just wait.
And Sterling's MMA wrestling is on point. He either gets the takedown or he uses the takedown as a threat, gets met with resistance, comes off with strikes, distracts you, goes right back into it. Rinse and repeat the entire time. Making you think about your hips, making you think about your legs at all times. Changing elevation, coming in, closing the distance, striking off of it, go right back to it. It's really interesting because that's the same thing that Dillashaw does so well. Dillashaw said Sterling would be an easy fight for me. And I believe that TJ was trying to gain interest in the viewer to see him versus Sterling. And I fully admit I am really interested in that match. Because TJ's one of these guys, right? He's a Division I wrestler, but he's fantastic on his feet. If you go back to the night that TJ won the championship, Renan Barão was the opponent, and TJ was an 8-1 underdog. At that time, that went down as the biggest upset, according to the odds makers, in UFC history. And it wasn't a hard fight for TJ. TJ absolutely dominated that, but he did so much of it with his kickboxing. So much of it was done with that. Used the wrestling defensively, offered the thought of the threat, got a takedown here or there, but he did it with his hands and his feet. Something we really didn't know TJ was that great at.
You know, so I think I showed what I'm capable of and where my mental fortitude is, where it's at. You're gonna need a lot more than that to break me and make me quit in there. So I don't know if that's what he's thinking. I don't know. If anyone's mentally weak, it's that guy. The guy needed steroids and EPO to catapult his career to even win as many fights as he's did in the UFC. So his whole UFC tenure is tainted. So I can't wait to punch him in the face. That would be somebody I would enjoy punching. He's got good skill, but the guy's a cheat. He's dirty, and I'd like an opportunity to slap him up, and we can figure out who's #1 again.
I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's got some attributes. He wouldn't be where he's at without being good. But he's definitely not champion caliber. You know, the guys that I've fought already in the past, much better than he is, a lot more dangerous. Like there's no danger in fighting Sterling. I mean, has he ever even knocked anyone out? I don't even know. I didn't even look at his record. You know, it's a guy that you don't have to be really worried about. There's no way he's gonna be out grappling me. His striking is straight pathetic. So yeah, I'm surprised that he is where he is. And stylistically, it's a great fight for him.
It's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm excited. It's a great opportunity. I think this is a legacy fight for myself.
Yeah.
I beat a guy like this who's been cheating for years and beating a lot of people for years. I think it does a huge boost to my stock, and just need to go out there, have a good performance, and the rest will take care of itself. That's it.
I absolutely have an advantage in striking him. I believe I have the advantage everywhere, right? I mean, he is really good once he gets on the back with control and things like that, but I haven't been impressed with his wrestling. He's a D3 wrestler. I've been wrestling D1, and I think his takedown defense is under 50%, you know what I mean? And his striking it's embarrassing that he's the champion and his striking is that bad, god-awful, you know? I mean, he uses his awkwardness to his advantage, but when you start throwing with him, he just cowers, and I don't know. I mean, so there's a lot there, right? I can out-grapple him, I can out-strike him. I'm gonna put on a clinic.